Right, okay. So I'm Michelle and I'm studying for my Masters in Graphic Design, and I'm here to have a chat with my friend Lauren. Lauren, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I work as an activity coordinator in a low secure ward as part of CAMS and as part of the occupational therapy team.
Great, thank you. So our discussion today is all about improving mental health in young adults. So I just wanted to talk to you about your view on that and what you feel needs improving.
Oh, okay. Lots, really. I feel like at the moment things are improving within mental health, and there is a lot of coverage on it. It's in social media. Everyone is feeling a little bit more open in discussing their mental health. I would say that the help that they need needs to be more accessible. I hear there's a lot of waiting lists within the community, and really just reaching out to them as quick as they kind of express any uncertainties or any doubts around mental health before it gets to a crisis point and they end up somewhere like a low secure ward where I work on that is really restrictive. A lot of things are taken away from them in terms of the things that they're allowed, because mainly what I'm dealing with is self-harm behaviours, suicidal ideation, and little things like what might seem quite normal to you, like having like a paintbrush on the ward or a pen or something, is considered a risk item. So a lot of those things are taken away from you. So in order for it to change, I think we need to be a little bit more, we need to be hotter on getting people the help they need before they end up in a CAMS setting.
Yeah.
If we're talking about young adults, that is. I mean, in general, that's what needs to change in mental health anyway.
Yeah.
Shorter waiting times for people, and giving them like an opportunity to understand if they are diagnosed with a mental health condition, to fully understand it without the stigma that's around it.
So do you feel there's still a lot of stigma behind mental
health? Massively. I noticed it first when I was studying, I was on training for personality disorder awareness, and some of the terminology that we still use even today, even some of my colleagues, is still, it needs to be eradicated. One of them is because I work with young females who have personality disorder, and some of the personality disorder traits you would get is what people might call attention seeking.
Yeah.
That terminology is still used, or saying, "Oh, that's classic PD."
Yeah.
That's still used frequently. Thinking that people with personality disorder are dangerous as well.
Yeah.
Then not all of them they have, dangerous traits or violent traits at all. So I guess what needs to change within a place like a charity or a hospital is some of the training needs to be more frequent, and, like I said, to eradicate any of that terminology that's used.
Yeah.
Stigma. Kind of because if you understand something, chances are you're going to help someone. If you don't understand it, then why are you there? Why are you working there?
Yeah. So Do you feel that before they get to you, there's a lot that can be done to prevent them coming to you?
Yeah. It's the waiting times within the NHS. It's the support within the community. I'm sure there is lots of things that are available, family therapy sessions and online DBT, CBT courses. But I don't think you can beat having like a one-to-one with someone about how you feel and what's going on in your head, and especially for, you know, a young person. They've got so much going on as it is with school, relationships, hormones, you know, peer pressure. The lot of it is. I don't think you realise when you're a teen yourself that you've been through that. You've gone through those feelings, and you deal with it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I know when I was at school, the help wasn't there for me. Especially some of the therapies we have now.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
So if that's taught more at school, you know, and I guess it becomes normal then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I was quite lucky because when I had my issues of depression at uni, I reached out and ended up having counselling through the university, which you're right, with a one-to-one and a face-to-face, it's like, yeah, there's apps out there that help and you can talk to, but there's nothing that beats having that constant contact with one person that's there as your support.
Yeah, and it's a safe environment, it's confidential, you know that they're not going to turn around and think you're silly for, you know, expressing how you feel, and really offer you that support that you need on a one-to-one basis, instead of, like you say, trying to figure it out yourself at home, or trying to confide in a family member that will go, oh, you know,
you're being silly, or
you'll be all right. You're being silly, you'll be all right, and sometimes you're not all right.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research and found out that there's a 25% increase in women between 16 and 24 years old. That's an increase. What's your opinion on why you think there's been such an increase? Like, do you think it's like social media and added pressure with that?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Because I suppose when they come to you, that's stripped away from them. They can't have access to that, can they?
They don't have access to, like I said, it's really restrictive environments. They don't have access to phones, social media, like internet in general is limited through like IT lessons and stuff, and it is all for their protection.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the stuff now, like on social media, like some of the promotions and the advertising, and I think I'm glad I'm not a teenage girl or a teenage boy within this generation, because I honestly don't know how I'd cope with that. And I get scared about my niece. She's 8, and she's not like an 8-year-old that we would know, that we were.
Yeah. She's
8-year-old growing up in a society where it's Snapchat and Instagram, and it all feels very uncomfortable. But I guess a lot of it is social media, but also it's just the makeup within DNA, not DNA, within like hormones, and I actually don't really know the answer to that question, Charlotte. And I have been told, but I don't. Yeah, it's tricky one.
Yeah.
Not sure why it's like just female targeted, because I work with both, so it's, yeah, I'm not sure.
No, that's cool.
But you brought it to my attention.
You can go find out.
I will.
I don't know whether we'll ever really know, I suppose. Okay. So moving on from that, what do you feel is more important, although both are really important, the awareness side of things, which I do think is actually quite out there at the minute, obviously, with a lot of mental health people, like celebrities and stuff, coming out with mental health problems, or the support side of things, so like the apps, the products. What do you feel would be more important to focus on to gain a better improvement of mental health?
I guess the awareness. I think if we're starting early enough and letting like either young people know that it's completely normal for you to not feel good sometimes.
Yeah.
And for you to seek support from people, from your family, from your friends, or beyond. If we're starting there,
yeah,
there'd be no need to be on these huge waiting lists to speak to a therapist, or, if we're teaching it, in schools, that sometimes you might feel like this when, it's a certain time of the month, or...
Yeah, so almost like a well-being lesson.
Yes. And it all comes about like how to take care of yourself, like your personal hygiene and stuff. These are all like the basics that can make people feel really really low.
Yeah.
I'm not the same as so-and-so, and I don't look like this, and that must make me, Yeah. Yeah, there are lots of... Yeah, you need to start early on to tackle anything else.
Yeah, no, I suppose if you're starting at the source, then it's not developing to need all the other things.
Yeah.
Off on a whim slightly, and I suppose, I don't know, I'm just gaining your opinion on it rather than knowing the answer. But one thing I knew, because when I was a cover teacher at secondary school, a lot of the subjects that were being reduced for time-wise were the subjects that I felt were really important and linked with mental health, such as art and PE. They were all being reduced. Some were looking at being dropped. I don't think in the PE sessions the importance of physical exercise and mental health was being taught. So, yeah, it's just really your opinion on whether you think if that was improved, whether you'd feel mental health would be improved.
Well, as you know, I have an arts background, so I'm a massive advocate for arts in mental health. It's, for me, I use it as a therapeutic approach to the young people, and a part of the role is like exploring different activities to engage them.
Yeah. So
they're not thinking about what's really going on. More of a distraction, and it's a healthy distraction, but and most of the young people that I work with identify art as a medium of self-expression when words aren't really available to them.
Yeah.
And they find some of the other therapies quite invasive. If you can imagine, like you said yourself, sometimes having that person there, you were a young adult when, you felt like you needed to go and speak to someone in your 20s, whereas some of the people that I care for are, between the ages of 13 and 18.
Yeah.
And that, you're expected to go and sit down and speak to someone about your problems. That just doesn't... as a 13-year-old myself, I would not go and do that.
No.
There is no chance I would want to speak to a stranger. I guess over the course of time that, you know, would improve and you'd be able to build rapport. But with art, you don't really have to start anywhere. It's difficult to communicate feelings for anyone. And with art, you can do that in any form of art, whether it's, you know, expressionist painting, or if they like to crochet or sound play. The list is huge, but yeah, it builds on their awareness, and it's a coping skill as well.
Yeah. Something
that they can go back to every time, something that's going to be low level, not too much to ask of you, it's doable, it improves your well-being. So, yeah, massively, arts is something that I focus on. For me, it's definitely physical exercise. I do it most mornings because that helps me mentally.
Yeah.
Teens, I know it definitely would help them. Do they want to? Not really. They don't have a lot of energy, motivation. Their fitness isn't great. They're on meds. Could help them, like, they'd gain weight.
Yeah.
They're not themselves. So I know it would help them, but it's getting them to do that. So I focus on within the arts because it's more accessible with where I work.
Yeah.
But also, again, I have to be quite restrictive on the items we use because they can become risk items as well.
Yeah. Cool. I'm just trying to think whether there's anything else to add. I suppose there's the question of the girls and boys that come to you. Do you feel that there could have been anything done prior to them coming to you that would have stopped them coming to you, if that makes sense? Or is it inevitably, it's part of their life story as such, and they always struggle with mental health, so they would eventually have come to you? Or do you think there's something prior to that could have happened to stop that happening?
Most of the young people that we have our ward have experienced really traumatic events, and that could be when they were younger or within the last year, and it's led them to be, you know, really needing specialist help.
Yeah.
It can vary. I think if you intervene quick enough and you're having that, you know, the support from within the community, and you're able to still, you know, live a normal life and go to school, see your friends, see your family, be at home.
Yeah.
I don't think there'd be any need. But everyone's different. I think it's not the case of one fits all. It's everyone needs 5% battery. Yeah, I think it's just intervening quick enough and getting the right support and the knowledge and knowing what might happen.
Yeah.
I think if people are given the knowledge of, you know, if I don't get the help now, then things might get really bad for me, and you know, they can't help that.
Yeah.
But it's having that support network around them as well. And if families aren't on board, you're not getting that support at home, it's only going to end up
escalating.
That you're going to need, it's going to escalate massively.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely goes with your point then, the awareness and knowing what to do as soon as you start to get those feelings is an important one.
Definitely. I'm just going to grab my charger just in case.
That's all right. We can end it there if you want, unless you've got anything else.
No, unless you have anything that you...
Yeah, no, cool. We will leave it there then, and I'll end the recording now.